All right, everybody, DStyleBoxing here. Let's talk some boxing. First of all, last Saturday night, Jesse Vargas versus Adrian Broner. I thought Jesse Vargas would have won that fight. Watching it, I did not score it round by round, so I'm not here to give you a round by round breakdown. Although I think we all kind of know it was a tale of two fights. You have the first half of the fight controlled mainly by Jesse Vargas with his activity. And with the exceptions of one or two rounds going to Broner, and the second half of the fight going to Adrian Broner. He picked up his activity as well, and in that second part of that fight, or in the middle rounds, he switched it up. So with the exception of one or two rounds, that second half went to Adrian Broner. So it's adjustments are part of boxing, and to see Adrian Broner, I would argue making an adjustment and seeing the openings of Jesse Vargas. I mean, I think Adrian Broner, and believe me, I'm not the biggest Adrian Broner advocate out there, okay? I think he spent about one or two, maybe three rounds probing Jesse Vargas and maybe waiting for Jesse Vargas to punch himself out. And maybe the reason he took a little longer to start letting his own hands go was because Jesse Vargas did not tire out maybe as fast as Adrian Broner anticipated. And I think that's what's happening here, okay? I think two things happened. Vargas punched himself out a little bit, and Adrian Broner probed him enough to look at the openings. A rematch will be very interesting, because Adrian Broner's already going to know a lot of the tendencies of Jesse Vargas, right? So you could argue that a rematch would favor Adrian Broner, since he's not going to have to take like 3 or 4 rounds to try to figure out Jesse Vargas' tendencies in that ring. That's what I felt happened anyway. Okay, it's not just like Adrian Broner just decided, okay, you know what, I'm just going to let my hands go. There is a cause and effect in boxing. It's not just something you just decide to do. If you know it works, he would have done it from the start. I think a lot of that is, probing the situation, figuring out the tendencies and movements and the setups of Jesse Vargas. And, Vargas did some adjustments himself. Nothing major, though. So he'll have to make a major adjustment in the second fight if he wants to have any chance of beating Adrian Broner, in my opinion. If you were to force me to pick a winner, like I said, I didn't score it round by round. So I don't want to just sit here and just say a name, but since I know people are going to want a name, I think a draw was fair. I didn't think any guy really came out on top. It just felt fair, just watching it. It just felt like, yeah, that was pretty much a draw. One guy won the first half, the other guy won the second half of the fight, right? But if I were to score round by round, I have a feeling I might score for Jesse Vargas, but there you go. All right, the other fights, man, these fights are way too predictable. All right, and look, I get it sometimes as boxing fans where we want to pump stuff up, but at the end of the day, I like to call things for what they are, man. These guys, I'm not saying they were joke of opponents, or I don't want to say they were a bunch of bums, but there's levels to boxing, and it was very easy to predict that Khan was going to win his fight. It was pretty easy to predict that Onito Donaire was a shot fighter now. Okay, it was pretty easy to predict that Charlo was going to win by a knockout. Okay, no later than the middle rounds, but he did it early. Okay, and it was pretty predictable to me that Tank was going to win his fight. And these are things, by the way, that I called on different hangouts. It's not me Monday morning quarterbacking. All right, it's a pet peeve of mine, and like, I'm not saying I never do it, but when people say things like, "Oh man, that guy, he's a tough fighter," like, look, here's a reality. All right, at that level, all fighters are tough. Okay, like, that's just the reality. Even the ones you don't like and stuff, okay, they're all tough. At that level, all right? They're all tough. 99% of fighters are tough, And some get their toughness tested more than others, just depending on how good they are defensively. But there's different types of tough, Is taking a lot of pain tough? Well, it depends who you ask, right? Of course, it makes you tough to go in there and be a boxer, you know, especially at that level. But there's also mental toughness. There's all sorts of toughness out there. But, you know, when people would say, like, man, Tank's opponent, I mean, he's tough. Well, I would go and I would watch the tape, and I'm like, I would watch some of his fights. Like, I don't care how tough he is. He's outmatched. And that's it. You know, they're both tough. You know, they're both high-level professional fighters. That's why they're on TV. You know, but one of them is, you know, it's just at a much higher level. And that's it. You know, one's in the minor leagues, man. One's in the major leagues. They're both good. They could both hit a fastball. No, but one's in the major leagues for a reason. All right. Now, with that said, that's that. I know there's been a lot of stuff out there about Oscar De La Hoya, right? Don't even want to say any of the alleged stuff. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know. But given the history, it probably is, man. And I think it's a shame. And Oscar De La Hoya, I thought he already had help. And for those saying, you know, mind your own business, De La Hoya came out and said to everybody, okay, that, you know, he's the owner of a business, right? He's the owner of Golden Boy Promotions, right? He's a public figure, and he came out and he told everybody, I promise you, I got my act together, and I'm gonna go full-fledged and just promote boxing and bring boxing to the next level. Well, Oscar De La Hoya has broken every single one of those promises that he made to the public. So of course the public has every right to call him out on that, right? And that's not the only, it's not the only bad stuff, you know, going on. That's his own personal business, but I still don't like how he handled the email situation. I did videos about that. It is what it is, okay? You can look up those videos if you want. I don't want to spend more time on Oscar De La Hoya, all right? Canelo Alvarez, you know, popped. Then he popped, man. There's no other way around it. You know, I hear a lot of defense of Canelo, and man, I've been doing videos about Canelo Alvarez since he first turned pro here on YouTube. I don't got anything against Canelo. I wish him nothing but the best. You know, but at the end of the day, he got caught, man. And the suspension is a joke, you know, and that's that. You know, that's the problem with boxing. Okay, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith are a joke. The boxing media, and not every single reporter out there, but just in general, are just a joke, right? The way they've handled a lot of this stuff. Canelo Alvarez, you know, he messed up. And fighters never come out. They never come out and say, all right, I did it. They always say, oh, my meat was contaminated, or they always say somebody snuck something into my food, and oh, they must have put something when I wasn't there, and this, that, and the third. You know, he could say whatever he wants, man, but at the end of the day, he popped dirty. And tell me, well, I'll take a test right now. Like, that's not the point. All right? That's not the point. You already got caught, bro. And that's it. I got to be consistent. Just like I got on, you know, Povetkin, I can't not get on Canelo. Like, that's stupid. And for the people defending Canelo, well, that's on you. You know, you want to put your reputation and your name and all that on the line for this dude that you don't even know? That does nothing for you. You don't even work for this guy. He doesn't give you money. All right? I'm going to go on here and defend Canelo, put the DStyle brand, okay, for what it's worth here. My word, the respect I have for many people that are subscribed to my channel, put all that in the line to defend this dude for what? All right? I'll defend a fighter when it's worth defending. Not in this case. All right? Speaking of defending, I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but when it comes to Adrian Broner's post-fight, all right? I'm not sure what people are shocked about. You see, I think there's two realities. There's reality, and then there's Adrian Broner's reality, okay? Adrian Broner does not want to be who he is right now in boxing. That's not who he wants to be. Adrian Broner wanted to be the next Floyd Mayweather. He wanted that O next to his win column. He desperately wanted that. He wants to dominate. You know, that's what he wants to do. He wants to dominate. Like you heard him, right? He said, I beat you like you stole some. If that's the way you beat somebody that steals something from you, then I suspect people steal a lot of shit from you. All right? For those that don't understand, the saying, he beat him like he stole some. All right? Like if somebody broke into your house and you caught him stealing from you, you would beat the living fuck out of them. All right? You wouldn't like not throw your hands for the first 4 rounds and, you know, and have a competitive fight with them. That's not the point of the saying. All right? But in his mind, he wants to be the guy that picks guys apart with ease and shit. Like that's what he wants to be. And I honestly believe it breaks his heart. He's not content with being a former titleist. He's not content with being one of the top boxers in the world. He's not content with the millions of dollars he won, purses. He's not content with that. He's not content with the fact that he's more blessed because of that than 99% of the world. He wants to be the next Floyd Mayweather. He wants to dominate. He wants to make it look easy. He wants to go in there and just embarrass dudes and make it look like they don't even belong in the ring with him. That's what Adrian Broner wants. Deep down. That's what he wants. And I think he knows, like, he wants to play off like he doesn't work hard in the gym. And like he just be like, for people could give him that pass. People could say like, ah man, if only he worked harder. He is. And it's frustrating him that he's not that guy. All right? So I think that's what it is. Honestly. Right? Anyway. Well, what else is happening here? Gennady Golovkin. All right? First of all, I have no problem with Gennady Golovkin calling out, you know, Canelo for popping dirty. Right? No problem whatsoever. I think the way Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, who have a big responsibility given the fact that millions of casual fans listen to these guys, you know, we need to get away from this mentality that boxing is like one fight is for all the marbles. Like, you know, like it's the whole sport is dependent on one fight. We got to get away from that. Right? We got to start paying attention to the young fighters, talking about young fighters. We got to talk about the contenders and title fights and push that. If Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman really loved boxing the way they say they do, okay, like I want to believe them, but, you know, they would have more young fighters on there. They would talk about fights more often, not just these big-name fights that make it seem like this is all boxing's got. And since they canceled this fight, like, man, boxing at the break of dying because, you know, Canelo popped dirty. And then they got to blame the dude that, you know, didn't break the rules. You know? These guys have spent, how long has the media spent, you know, on a campaigning to get rid of steroids in sports? In sports where guys are not even hitting each other. Like, if you ask me, right? And by the way, I'm not a baseball purist. So if a baseball purist says, well, hell no, I understand. But I'm just being flat honest. If baseball players use performance-enhancing drugs, I don't care. All right? I just don't care if they use performance-enhancing drugs in non-combative sports. I don't care. Right? But the same media that's, you know, been on this campaign to get rid of PED in sports because integrity and all this shit, all of a sudden, because they're not going to be able to watch this fight they really wanted to watch, you know, all of a sudden it's an issue. All of a sudden. You know, so, you know, I'm just putting that out there. With that said, Gennady Golovkin versus Vanes Martirosyan. First of all, the fight is trash on any date. Second of all, I don't care that it's on May 5th. What I do care about is it being called Mexican style. I'm not going to dive in on the whole Mexican style thing. All right? You know what I hate? I hate pandering. What are you trying to do? We're trying to pander to the Mexican Americans and to the Mexicans. I mean, what obvious pandering is that? And you're fighting Vanes Martirosyan. That dude hasn't fought in what, like 2 years? And we all know that there's better fighters out there. By the way, man, has a tune changed. Man, they've remixed. Abel Sanchez has like totally remixed the whole 154 to 168 song, hasn't he? I mean, that thing, they like, it went from, we'll fight anybody from 154 to 168. Right? It went from that to, we'll fight 160, and that's it. They remixed the shit out of that. Alright? Which is cool, but I'm just saying, with that said, Vanes Martirosyan? Vanes Martirosyan? Are you shitting me? That's the bet, like, really, bro? That's the fight we're gonna get? That's Mexican style too, or whatever the fuck you're calling it? Right. I mean, holy shit. This is insane. I mean, what a crappy fight. Well, what a trash fight, man. What a trash fight. Could have done so many better fights than that, but what are you going to do, okay? You know? Why even go through the names? Because he's not going to fight any of them. Right? We all know, like, if you want to fight Canelo so bad, you know, I guess you should have just waited till September, I guess. I mean, what a waste of time this fight is. With that said, we all know Canelo is not really going to get punished. They're going to make the fight in September, and that's that, okay? And it's a wrap, all right? After that, it's a wrap for Gennady Golovkin, okay? DStyleBoxing doubts you'll see Gennady Golovkin in 2019. I'm just putting that out there. If we do, we do, but I just doubt it. I don't think I got anything more to say. I could always do other videos about this shit, but just want to give that rundown since I haven't talked about boxing here in quite some time. I already talked about the AJ Wilder thing. It's for you guys putting comments there. I'm not gonna address things I already like if you give me an argument in the comment section and I've already like word for word talked about that comment in my own video, anticipating these comments and answered them for you, then I guess the one that needs to listen a little more is you. All right. With that said, this is DStyle. I'm out.